Good afternoon. I'm Travis Clardy, President, Chief Executive Officer of the Texas Healthcare Association. Welcome back to another Friday wrap up at the weekend at the Capitol. So behind me, you see the beautiful pink dome. Scaffolding is still there. I guess they're never going to finish that roofing project, but I'm coming to you from our offices here at the 1108 Lavaca. It's great to be back with you. I know last time we did this, I said I think I was coughing and hacking. I may cough again. This cough will not go away, but I am shaking the bugs, feeling much, much better. Now, I did promise you when you saw me next, I would have a better haircut. But as you can see, that did not happen. I'm going with the full of the Samson look. I'm not going to cut my hair till we get what we need out of this legislative session. Actually, I'm going to get a cut this next weekend, Lord willing. But there you go, that cough. But we've had a very, very full week. We have passed the halfway mark in the 89th legislative session. I think today is 67 days to go out of 140, and the pace has picked up. So today, this morning, I was in the hearing and was in favor of a bill that we heard deal with the generator situation, largely driven out of the hurricane and the storms we have in Texas here on the Gulf Coast. And so this has been a priority. I know Governor Patrick has talked about this being a custodian, and it's one of those areas that we've already addressed, largely within the THCA. We have emergency plans already in place for a variety of emergencies that we can confront in Texas. You know, here in Texas, it's everything from hurricanes, tornadoes, to fires, to who knows what. And because of that, you better think ahead, and I'm very proud of our membership and what we've done developing emergency plans, and those plans have worked, including having generators. They can make sure we keep our foodstuffs and our medications preserved and protected for our residents, and also to make sure they're in a comfortable and safe environment. So today, there's two bills being heard in the Senate. One by Senator Carol Alvarado, a very good friend and former colleague. We served together in the House, and then she moved to the Senate, as well as Senator Boris Miles, also of the Houston area. And again, Boris and I, we all served together in the House, and then Boris is now a senator. So as we speak, the hearing should be going on in the Senate floor. I think they may still be meeting in the Senate right now, but they'll take up the Senator Miles bill, and that's a bill that we support. And again, I appreciate the ideas and the thought behind both of them, but I think the Senator Miles bill is a bill that makes a lot of sense. And again, it's really addressing the needs of those areas where those facilities that are not our members, they're not long-term care, skilled nursing facilities. It has more to do with assisted living. And again, I know that that's an area that the better operators and those of our members that operate assisted living facilities live up to these standards. But there are other places where they're really outside of regulation. And that's where we've had a problem. So it's a real issue, but again, we're careful to watch and monitor what they are doing to make sure that they don't get out of the lane and get into areas we shouldn't be into and cause problems. Again, oftentimes, in the Texas legislature, we'll see good bills, good ideas that get passed. And one of the laws that's always enforced in effect, the law of gravity, nobody floats out of their chair, and the law of unintended consequences. And oftentimes, despite their best efforts, there's too much going on, and sometimes bills, that's why you have hearings, that's why you have amendments, that's why you put the work into it, but still, sometimes things happen, bills get passed that we didn't think them all the way through, or I should say they didn't think them all the way through, and the unintended consequence has to be come back. A lot of the work that the legislature does every 2 years is to come back and fix and tweak those things that they have a problem. So this we're trying to get right on the front end, and so we'll see how the generator bill comes out. But again, appreciate the good work of everybody involved, and we'll watch that. As far as our bill of priorities, again, you can look at those on our website, but those continue to move forward. Last week, I met with Cecily Young, the commissioner of the HHSC, and her staff at their offices, and talked about some of the concerns we have. And so later in today's program, you'll be able to watch a snippet of an interview I did and a conversation we had with John Unroe. John is a very accomplished accountant professional in the government Medicaid QIPP space. He's somebody that our industry and our folks and many of you rely upon for how to crunch those numbers and see how the programs work and make sure that it's working appropriately. And so you can do those important things like, I don't know, getting the money in, paying your bills, but also budgeting for the future and understanding the financial environment you work at when you work in a regulated space and a profession like long-term care. So stay tuned. That'll be added on to this segment, so you can hear John Unroe give you some what I believe is good news about QIPP. I know this has been a frustration with some of the delays and the hiccups, but there's a reason this has occurred. Better news is there's a plan going forward to fix it, and better news yet. Now again, trust but verify that we see the program, and we're in quarter one, year 8. But as we see moving to a quarter system, that I think we're going to see this smooth out and give some reliability and predictability to the program. So, John will be here for that, and I think you'll enjoy that part of the segment, part of our weekend review here at the Capitol. So, but in the meantime, our bills have all been filed. They're moving forward. Our team is across as we speak, securing hearing dates. Bills start to be heard in committee. And again, you can go online. That's if you're the Texas state government, you can go to the House or the Senate, and there are live video feeds of the hearings that the committees hold to talk about the bill, so you can hear people testify. Now, you cannot testify remotely. I think that's still the right rule. I know some people will push for that, but I think that it's important people come to our Capitol and go to those committee hearings and be there in person so that you could be interrogated. We tweaked those a little bit back during the COVID years, but again, I think this is one of those things that it's important that people be present to come to the Capitol, or people to see you and hear from you. So you're welcome. You can come as a public member and testify on any bill that you want to have a comment on. But in the meantime, you just want to see what's happening. You can pull that up. You can see the agenda. So you can see the schedule of bills for the House and the Senate. So I encourage you to do so, if out of nothing else, just to improve your civic knowledge, or Lord, if only just for morbid curiosity. I will say it's must-see TV, but I think everybody really needs to see it for themselves. There's a lot of hard work goes on. Today, the Senate's going to probably go 5 or 6 o'clock, but it's not uncommon at all for the House and Senate to meet into the late hours. I say late hours. Once upon a time, I served on elections. We actually went, I think, 26 hours straight, no breaks, no anything. You can get up and leave, but the committee keeps rolling. And sometimes on the budget nights or the last day of bills, you will go to midnight, not about at all. And then sometimes when that leaves, you go back to your committee hearing. So, it's a lot of time and effort goes into it. I think sometimes we could be a little more judicious in our use of time in the Texas legislature. But that said, there is a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, and you're a big part of it. So I'm going to encourage all of you in the weeks to come. Today, or Wednesday of this week, we did the board meeting of the THCA. All of our representatives welcomed a new board member, and then expect to have a new board member for the next meeting in April. So we're seeing some growth, some momentum, but we're going to be encouraging all of you, pushing out to bring your teams here, to come and testify. It will help you know what to say, give you our one-pager. Our good friends are producing this video and also produce some of our literature. That helps with some of our articles you may have seen in the paper. Griffin Communications have done a fantastic job, and we'll arm you with that one pager. We'll help you know where to go and who your rep is or who your senator is, and go talk to them about our issues. Nothing means more to an elected official than people who live, breathe, work, and eat in their district and care about what's happening in your state government. So again, we'll be getting memos and emails. We're going to need your help to come here, come to Austin, and be part of the solution as we work together for our long-term care industry. While I'm thinking about it, I believe it's April 30th. April 30th. Put that date on your calendar. We'll be sending out notices to our members. That's going to be Nurses Day. And Nurses Day is where we have many of our nurses from around the state come to set up shop in the Capitol. We have a large room in the extension, and it's actually one of the more popular events that happens here at the Capitol, because we give the members and lobby and folks that are guests in the Capitol free blood pressure screening. They can come here, sit down, and see exactly how much stress they're under. Trust me, the closer we get to the sine die, the last day of session, and you can hear the wailing and screaming of bills dying in the background, blood pressures go up and people get under pressure and they're a little overworked, a little stressed in the late nights. And so it's a good thing that we do to keep folks safe. But we're going to get you here. Help us on Nurses Day. Help us in the meantime. We had a great group in yesterday from Touchstone Care Day. Y'all had folks here today, and then they will be testifying at the generator bill hearing. And I appreciate the Doug coming and doing that. Excuse my cough. And so, but we need everybody here to, again, go talk to those members, impress upon them the importance of supporting our legislation. Again, the three things we're focusing on, we'll focus on the child change of ownership documentation, work with the agency on that. But we've got to get that streamlined and back to a process that can be done in 30, 45 days max. Likewise, Medicaid eligibility. We want to take in the folks who qualify for Medicaid eligible, and we've always done that in the past, knowing they've got to wait a month or two before we can start getting paid for that. But we want people to know that we're available, but it's really chilling across the state. Providers being able to take on too many folks when you may not see payments for 8 or 9 or 10 months. You name me another situation where you could move into an office space or rent a house or go to a hotel and say, well, I'll pay you in 10 months. It can't happen. And so, but that's what's happened with us. And I appreciate the generosity of our members and those that take care of folks. And again, we do them for the right reasons. But we sure need help getting the process back to where it's supposed to be, where it's a 30, 45 day turnaround. On the regulatory compliance side, on the survey side, we know, and we need to be, we want to be in a regulated environment where we know that people are doing what they ought to do with this prey on the vulnerable population that we serve. And so we need the HHSC, we need surveyors coming in and making sure that things are in compliance. I'm very proud of our organization and our members because we do that. That is our commitment to do it. That's what we want to do. And it's the state's responsibility to make sure it's being done. And so, but from time to time, there's going to be some differences of opinion. And the surveyors may write up and tag some things and write in different, and recommend some disciplinary action or fines or citations. Okay, and that's fair enough. But when that happens and we disagree, there's a process, the informal dispute resolution process, IDR process, which we avail ourselves of. It's in the law. And there's an arbitrator, I will call IMPRO. And so, but the problem has been that we've seen them make decisions that then get flipped on their heads. And the agency goes against the company that's contracted to actually sit in that role. And so we've seen that happen upwards of 75% of the time. A good decision favorable to the facility comes back and then it's ignored. And that just doesn't seem quite cricket to us. And so we've been engaged in conversations since the last session with HHSD about that. So legislation has been filed. We're going to move it forward to correct that and get that confirmed and make sure they know what their statutory authority and responsibilities are. So that's our role. So again, I think we have a good relationship with HHSC. I appreciate Commissioner Young giving me the time to talk to her and sit down with Chris Traylor, the former HHSC commissioner, one of our consultants that we use. It provides very, very valuable information. He's able to talk that talk, that somebody's been in that chair. And so I think it was productive. I think we're working towards a positive solution. And that's what we're going to do for the next 67 days as we march toward the end of the 89th legislative session, and very optimistic about that. The budget process is started to wind up. Senate Bill 1, SB 1, it comes out of the Senate. The session has been passed out of the Senate unanimously, as we'll be moving across the rotunda to the West Wing where the House resides. The House Appropriations is completing its tasks, and they're going to be taking up and having budget night comes up, and I will be letting you know when that night is, but that's always an eventful night because, that's how we express our priorities in the Texas legislature. The old expression, the adage, put your money where your mouth is. Well, that's what Texas does. And we lay out a very transparent budget, albeit a big one. When you see it printed and laying on the desk, it's a pretty big pile of paper. But it should be. It's a third of $1 trillion is the Texas annual budget now. And so that's how we express what's important to us. And so a lot of issues are going to be taken up. And I think we're going to be very pleased with where we come down for our profession in long-term care, and the money that we hope to see that will be there in addition to what we've seen in the past. Texas has always trailed. We're in the bottom part of the states as far as the Medicaid reimbursement rate. So we're hoping to keep working on that and moving that up and have that be reflective of what our actual costs are, so we can continue to provide that quality of care. So that's the news of where we are now. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to cover for you. The main thing is, one, thank you for those of you who've already made your way to the Capitol to go work with the members and talk to them and go through our issues, and extend another cordial invitation for you to come join us. You'll be seeing more about that in the very, very near future. And so that is all very well and good. I've enjoyed the opportunity to work through this session. It's been an experience to be inside the building, looking out. A lot of times I'll be on the floor on a beautiful day and I'm stuck inside, and the rest of you all are getting to be moving around the great state of Texas. So now it's good to be on this side, and I could not be more happy and more honored to serve as your president. I know how important these issues are. My mother was recently, before she passed, in one of our facilities in Nacogdoches, Texas. What we do is vitally important. There could not be anything more important in my mind, what we do, than to take care of the people who took care of us. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Honored to be your president. We're going to have a great session. And then once we get done, we'll be talking more in the days to come. We'll be moving towards our summer program up in the Fort Worth area, and then we'll have our fall show after that. So, the work here at the Texas Healthcare Association is never done. There's always something for us to do. And right now we got our sleeves rolled up. We're going to finish this session strong, and then we'll get together, talk about it this summer. We'll have a lot more to talk about then. So again, thank all of you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully I got a haircut next time we're talking. I won't be coughing on camera. So until then, y'all have a great weekend. God bless you, and God bless Texas. Bye-bye. Good afternoon. This is Travis Clardy, the president of THCA. Great to have you here with us. We're going to have a little conversation today, not too long, but with one of our friends and really one of the experts in the field, John Unroe of Forvis, which is his company. You probably know John. He works with many, many of our members and with our profession and industry throughout Texas, working with the finances and the accounting of long-term care, and particularly work with HHSC on the QIPP program, among other things. I thought this would be a good time for him to give us an update. I know many of you are concerned about what's happening with the payments. We're getting some good news. Hopefully checks are going to start flowing. But in the meantime, I thought we'd just take the opportunity. We had our board meeting today. John was kind enough to be here with us and present to the board kind of where we are. And I thought he could give us a quick rundown of where we stand with HHSC, what's going on with QIPP, and what the future holds for our members.
Well, sure. QIPP year 8 is definitely a big change from what we've seen in prior years. And the biggest thing that I think everyone really is experiencing is going from some monthly payments to just quarterly only in this year 8. And to complicate matters, when CMS initially approved this new QIPP year 8 methodology and payment structure, there were some things because of some metrics that were frozen by CMS that we couldn't get officially approved by CMS at that time because the data hadn't been released. And the methodology that we had planned to utilize when CMS eventually did release that data was to use a 4-quarter historic average of data for those metrics and to compute the baselines and the benchmarks. Unfortunately, in February, when we received the information finally from CMS, they didn't release 4 months of historical data. And so the plan that we had initially presented to CMS physically couldn't happen because we didn't have the data.
So what did that do to HHSC? How did that mess up the process and put us in the delay? Because we were expecting payment for Q1 year 8 in mid-February, and now we're at the tail end of March. There's still no money. So how did that affect HHSC's role?
So unfortunately, HHSC's hands were a bit tied, and they have to go back and get official written approval for a new methodology because, again, the methodology initially planned couldn't happen. And so it's a pretty simple fix. There is some historical data, but it's not 4 quarters of historical data. So they're just going to tweak it a little bit, but they have to get official CMS approval. And so that's the hang up.
Is there a stopgap measure to get money flowing in the next few days so our members can look forward to being able to pay their bills again?
And not ideal, but I do think HHSC really did work with us and recognized the significance of the program to operators and that they need the money. So they came up with a methodology where they did essentially a computation based on 2 different scenarios that they anticipate one of the 2 will be approved by CMS. And they computed each of those 2 scenarios, the outcome for each and every individual facility within the program. And as an interim payment, you will get the lesser of the 2 payments. The only challenge is the non-dispersed funds, which are the funds for that facilities didn't meet a metric. Those are generally dispersed at the same time as the funds you have earned. They can't actually disperse those lapsed funds until final approvals received from CMS. That's about $75 million that will relate to that Q1, but it's just on hold.
But as I understand it, HHSC has communicated with the MCOs, the managed care organizations, and asked them, do they have the money? The MCOs have the money in hand, but they've been instructed to go ahead and push some of that money out now, and there'll be some reconciliation, hopefully in the next few weeks, before we get to the next quarterly payment. Is that where we are?
It is. When HHSC released those 2 scenario scorecards, they encouraged the MCOs to make the payments. Technically, the MCOs have 20 days from the date they receive the scorecard from HHSC before they are required to make the payments to providers. And HHSC did encourage them to make the payments as soon as possible. And I've actually already heard from a few providers this week, and they have started receiving a few payments. And my understanding is the other MCOs plan to make the payments in the next week or 2.
Well, let me jump in here and add this to our members. I've got to ask for those of you watching, we're communicating with all of our members. We, the THCA, and I made calls. Chris Traylor, former commissioner who also works with us, made calls to the MCOs, one, encourage them and find out when they could pay. And we're being told the same thing. Now, we all know in business, you love to be told the check's in the mail, but it's not nearly as much fun as seeing it clear through the deposit. So members, when you receive the money, whether it's from Superior or United or from Molina, any of those, let us know that you got the money, because if we don't have them do what they say they're going to do, which is pay the money early, they could wait a full 20 days, but they're not doing that. We appreciate that. Please let us know that the money got there, and if we have a problem with a particular MCO, we'll get back on and start calling them again. That's our job here at the THCA. So, Don, anything else that's going forward through the remainder of the year? Do you feel like we're going to be able to get back on track where the quarters are going to be paid timely, that we're not going to have this little hiccup that we've had the Q1 year 8?
Yeah, I really do. And again, this is the first year 8, that we didn't get some of those monthly payments. So it's a challenge, and we all appreciate that from the provider's perspective. But HHSC is working actively with CMS to get this kink worked out. And really, we should see for program year 8 and 9 and 10 and so on, the payments should happen every 3 months from here on out. So we've kind of gone over the rough patch, and we've made it through. And so now going forward, every quarter should be pretty consistent.
Great. Well, I think that's a great place to leave it. That's good news. Again, but like Ron Reagan used to say, trust but verify. So again, members, let us know when that money shows up. We're going to keep them on their toes. But John, thank you again for joining us. Absolutely. Look forward to working with you soon. All right. Bye.